closings unless their presence is essential to the successful completion of the transaction. One of the matters for which we are seeking clarification is a licensee's ability to participate in a final walkthrough and any restrictions that might apply if the walkthroughs are allowed. New York State Association of Realtors is working with your local board to keep them updated to receive from them information on your local situation. We have scheduled a weekly conference call for information exchange. Please rest assured that the New York State Association of Realtors will continue to do everything it can to lessen the impact of COVID-19 related business interruption. New York State Association of Realtors remains open for business, although we are working remotely. Our legal hotline remains fully operational, as does our technology hotline. nysar.com will continue to provide timely updates, so please visit often. And this is from, I guess that's the leadership team, Jennifer Stevenson, David Legaz, all those people, right? That's not important. What's important is this part I highlighted here. One typical activity for licensees that you cannot do even from home is cold calling when we have a state of emergency. So I got a couple people here in the chat. James Festini, man, I like your what you got going on with that. That makes sense to me too. But I think it is extremely, extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Let me pull that back up. So David Woodson, they will stomp you. A while to what other states will follow, David Woodson. In Illinois, lenders and realtors are essential. I agree. I think we're essential. I think it's such an important transaction. I don't think that transactions can be stopped. I think that right now, for a lot of people, if a transaction is stopped, it could possibly, yeah, Brian, this is just for the state of New York. Now, this apparently, I'll tell you what, I don't want to show who sent this to me. But it looks like they received it at 12:41 p.m. Eastern time. So they just got it, right? They just got it. So I mean, this is all like 2 hours old, maybe, or maybe less than that for a lot of the licensees. So James, no one can door knock, no prospecting. Yeah, right. Brian, not sure, just checking from a quick search. Yeah, this is the only state I know of. I feel like if other states had followed, I feel like I'd probably already know about this. I'll tell you what, I got this from 3 different people within like a 30-minute time frame. So Roxanne Andler, I had 2 closings last week in Wisconsin. I could not attend the closings, but couldn't pick up my check. Hey guys, I'll tell you this, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, man, I don't really attend closings unless somebody specifically asked me to. And a lot of our closings are true second homes and second situations, mail away closings and stuff that. Now I'm going to tell you what my opinion about this is. Okay, so I've never felt like I was a cold caller. A lot of you guys in my group coaching, we just talked about some of this stuff. Literally, we talked about it. We had a 1 p.m. call that lasted about an hour, and we talked about this. I've never felt like I was a cold caller. James, he's on the call here with us, and he's commenting on the Facebook Live. But I'll tell you this: the reason why I've never felt like I was a cold caller was because James does a little different than me. James have a big list, call through everybody. Me personally, I've always taken and I've called and contacted people that I felt like there was a reason for me to contact them, right? So let's look at this right here really fast. I pulled up this because I said, you know what, if we do have a situation where this is a problem, they're going to go, what's the definition of cold calling, right? Definition of cold calling is the solicitation of businesses from potential customers who have had no prior contact with the salesperson conducting the call. Okay, so it could be somebody, if you're calling communities, if you're just pulling a big list from something, there could be some concern, right? I really believe there could be some concern. It's an attempt to convince potential customers to purchase either the salesperson's product or service. If they don't know who you are, it's cold call, right? Dave said no cold calls. Yeah, I've never felt like I cold called anyway. Let's see what warm calling is, right? Warm calls, let me move this down a little bit. Warm calling is when the salesperson contacts prospective customers that may have had a relationship with the business rather than a complete stranger. These previous relationships may be mutual friends, trigger events, or signals of interest in the product or service, which are often a result of inbound marketing. Warm calling considers the buyer perspective and acknowledges that not everyone will be a prospective client. That's kind of interesting. It's a little bit different than cold calling, right? So this is my thoughts and this is my feelings. I've always felt like I was not a cold caller because and James is right. Warm calls, it could be a follow-up call, but they might not know you still. I mean, that's true. I've always felt like the people I was calling, I had a reason to call them. There's a reason to call them. They had a problem, they had an issue, they had a for sale by owner ad, they had a for rent by owner ad, right? I don't believe those are cold calls. I mean, we can argue that point based on the definition all you want to, but I don't feel like those are cold calls. So if I was in the state of New York City or New York right now, and I got that email and I seen, guys, let's go back to that email real quick. If we scroll down here to the bottom, we see that this is until September 7th. September 7th. So we've got, man, forever, basically. We got that's like 5-6 months. Guys, I'm not telling you, everybody has their own level of risk they're willing to accept. I would still continue to call expireds. I would still continue to call for rent by owners. I would still continue to call for sale by owners, right? You got a reason to call them. You're calling them to see if their house is still for sale, right? You're calling them to see if they still have a house for sale or if they still want to sell their house. And Michelle said, when it boils down to it, are they going to report you and is it worth it, especially considering they cannot sell real estate in New York at this time? Now they can sell real estate. Closings are still going on, right? Closings are still going on. However, you know what? We've got some stuff here that we forget about. So if I was in New York right now, let's just speak hypothetically, my business would still probably revolve around for sale by owners. It probably still revolve around, for sale by owners, expireds, for rent by owners, right? Still revolve around calling them, having conversations with them, right? And we did a great quarantine call here just a little bit ago. And you know what? The crazy thing is if you look at that post I made a little bit earlier in Real Estate Agents That Really Work on Facebook, if you look at that post, we've got agents all over the country still doing business. Yep, James said I'd pretend he never heard this. I'd do the exact same. I'd still call for sale by owners. I'd still call expireds. I'd still call for rent by owners. I'd still call people that I thought needed my help. Okay, now also, guys, we're forgetting about this. There's a lot of agents that are looking at this right now. If you're in the state of New York, this is an opportunity for you. This is not, hey, your business is shut down. There's some of you guys that literally got this email, and there's agents that got this email that they've just said, hey, screw this, I'm just going to go dark. I'm just going to go dark and I'm just not going to do any business. And, I'm going to cry about it. And 6 months later, maybe we'll see where the dust settles, right? I don't think that's what you should do. I think you should do what's best for you. I think you should do what's best for your family. I think you should do, I'm not telling you to run out of here in the middle of the COVID-19, a tornado of germs or whatever it is, right? I'm not telling you to put yourselves in harm's way, but I would still continue to do business, at least on the phone, at least my prospecting. I'd still continue to talk to sellers. I'd continue to talk to my clients. You know what? this is a great time too. What we got to do, we got to remember that we need to build relationships during this time. David Whitson, you're exactly right. If you go dark, you go broke. You go broke. And I think that none of us want to lose everything we have. We don't want to get fined, of course, but hey, look here, calling for sale by owners, calling expireds, calling for rent by owners, those are all warm calls. Yep, those are all warm calls. Those are all things that you can still continue to do. Now look at this. You still have past clients you can call, right? Nothing says anything about past clients. They should know your name. I hope they know your name. Your database of people, database of sellers, the ones that you've already been calling, the ones that you have already talked to, right? The ones you already left messages for. You still call those, right? Right? Your follow-up calls, even though I don't like them, and I don't think, well, whatever my opinion is about them, you still got like your Zillow people, your realtor.com people, right? All these people that you already have in your database, I'd still continue to call them. I'd still continue to have the conversations. I'd still continue to build relationships. Robin, Ashley is exactly right. Be calm. Your clients are going to love you for it. We're in a position right now where there's a lot of unique things that are about to happen. And one of them is, actually me and James spoke about this the other day. One thing is, guys, millions of Americans are about to miss their first mortgage payment. And that's going to happen in the next 30 to 45 days. They're going to miss the first one. Now, I know that a lot of you guys are going, okay, well, yeah, they're missing the first mortgage payment, but there's mortgage deference and there's all this stuff, and they're not going to care about it. Believe me, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to care about it. There's going to be a lot of people. That first mortgage payment for a lot of these people, they've worked really hard on building their credit. They've worked really hard to get their home. They've worked really hard for all this stuff, and now they're going to miss their first payment. And a lot of people, guys, don't keep up with real estate the way that we do, and they're going to get scared. So when they start getting close to missing that mortgage payment, they're already out of work. Their job may not come back. Let's be honest. Job may not come back. We're going to see a flood of for sale by owners. We're going to see that, I think, about 45 to 60 days from now, right? And we need to be prepared for that. That's what I've been preparing my group coaching people for. I've been thinking about it. I put a lot of thought into it. And this is not my first recession, without a doubt. But we have to be extremely prepared for what's about to come. We're going to see a flood of for sale by owners, and I think we're going to see listings flood the market. And the reason I think this is because I'm just watching the market. It's am I a financial or economic expert? No, but I've been doing real estate 17, 18 years. I got a pretty good handle on this whole thing. Haven't had a job in 17, 18 years. Hadn't even applied for one or thought about looking for one. Right. So I got a pretty good handle on this whole real estate thing and what's going to happen from it. So I think we're going to see this flood of for sale by owners. Then I think we're going to see a flood of new listings on MLS. So all of a sudden, your market that doesn't have much going on right now, doesn't have a lot of inventory going on right now. All of a sudden, you're going to have a flood of inventory. One thing that we need to do and make sure that we're doing, you guys in New York, you guys all over the country, we need to make sure that we have a sense of urgency when we talk to clients about now is the best time to put their house on the market. If they put their house on the market right now while there's no inventory, hey, that's great. Their house is on the market, but there's no inventory. If they wait 60 days, if they wait 90 days, hopefully this whole thing blows over. And 2 weeks from now, we're laughing about how much toilet paper we bought. We don't have to buy any more toilet paper for the rest of the year till after Christmas. Give rolls of toilet paper away for Christmas presents this year, right? Hopefully we're making jokes and laughing about that. But there's going to be a flood of inventory. And if their house goes on the market right now, say their house is worth $200,000 versus going on the market 90 days, they may only be able to get 175,000 for their house. And the reason is going to be inventory. Instead of being the only 3-bedroom, 2-bath home listed in their community, they're going to be one of 10. And they're going to be one of 10. And they're going to have those 2 people in the community that were already struggling to pay the payment that just lost their job. A lot of these jobs are not going to come back. That's the truth of it. A lot of these small businesses people work for, they're not going to survive 2, 3, 4 weeks of being closed. That's the truth. A lot of real estate offices are not going to survive this. I mean, that's the way it is. And guys, we got to be prepared for it. Now, I'm not telling you this with doom and gloom. This whole call is not about doom and gloom whatsoever. This call is about you guys being smart and being smart with your decisions that you're making and the decisions that you're making for your business. Because I believe that if we have a plan, we stay calm and we stay on course, that we're going to come out of this and a lot of us will thrive. A lot of you listening to this call are going to quit the business. A lot of you guys, this email made you go ahead and throw in the towel. Just me reading it made you go ahead and throw in the towel and you're not even in the state of New York. But a lot of you that really take and look at this as an opportunity, which that's what it is. It is an opportunity for us. I know that there's somebody listening to this right now. I can feel it. That's going, oh, Jason's trying to take advantage of people in a bad situation. No, I'm not, because we're offering a service that these people need. One thing that happened in 2008, I'll tell you this, one thing in 2008 that happened that I've told people, like, that 2008 to 2012, 2013 period was my favorite time in the real estate business. And one of the reasons being is because people truly needed us and I got to really, truly help people. Right. There's a lot of short sales going on at that time. I'll tell you guys a quick story. One that really stuck out to me that, man, I would have truly helped the people for free. But the bank paid me. It was a short sale. The bank paid me. What happened was it was an older couple. The gentleman was in his 80s. He'd had, if I remember correctly, like 4 or 5 brain surgeries. He was in bad shape. His wife had a medical power of attorney for him. And she was his power of attorney. And this guy thought that since a police officer delivered them the foreclosure letter, that if he was foreclosed on, he was very confused and he was sick. He'd had 4 or 5 brain surgeries. And he thought that if his house got foreclosed on, there were these foreclosure police out there that were going to come and arrest him and throw him in jail. And his wife didn't know what to do. They never experienced anything like this before. And anyway, not only did I help them do a short sale and get out from under the mortgage, and they got a full release on the short sale, they got, at the time, there was a program called the half a move allowance, and HAFA. The website was makehomeaffordable.gov. But there was a half a move-in allowance that was $3,000. Not only did they get out from under their house, they got $3,000 at closing to move with, which $3,000 to this particular couple at the time, I mean, it might as well have been $20,000 or $50,000. It was a lot of money, these people. I'll tell you what, the guy was in such bad shape. The closing, I actually attended the closing, and I was sitting there waiting on them, and they hadn't come in. So finally I was like, man, this is crazy. It's like an hour past closing. So I go outside just to grab something out of my car real quick. And I happened to see their car, and they were sitting outside, and the wife couldn't get the husband to come in because he thought the police were there waiting on them. Right. It was just a bad situation. And guys, I'm really happy that I was able to make a difference in their life. Right. Probably one of the most rewarding transactions I've done, that I helped that family get out of this really bad situation. Not that I want to see people in bad situations, but we're going into a time where our service is needed, and we need to keep that in mind. All the calls we're making, the conversations we're having, yes, we get paid to do it. right? But if we start building that mindset that we're doing it from the heart, we're doing it from a helpful standpoint, rather than there's a lot of agents doing it from the commission breath standpoint where they need a check. And I'm not saying none of you guys don't need a check. We all need to get paid. We all have bills. We all have families. We all have, mortgage or rent or whatever you do, right? Car payment, cell phone, all that stuff. We all have that. But if you can follow up because you feel like these people need your help, guys, it's going to make a lot of difference in the world. It's going to make a lot of difference in people's lives. And that's what we have to do. And if you're in the state of New York and you're in this situation, you're basically the state of New York shutting down a lot of agent businesses right now. Guys, listen to the recording over again if you missed the first part. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. There's a lot of opportunities out there. I'm happy to talk with you guys one-on-one. I'm happy to exchange messages through Facebook. Let me know what I can do to help you. If you're in my group coaching, I just did a video where we laid out we had the quarantine special call. If you're quarantined, you can't get out. What do you do right now? How do you list property? How do you continue doing your business? Right now, I laid out a simple system for you guys. And guys, like I said, if I can help you with your business, send me a message. Let me know what I can do. And I hope to talk to some of you guys soon. And you guys have a good day and stay safe out there. And I'll talk to you soon.